Hello, it's Jenny Jen the Plant Friend. How are you guys doing today? It's so nice to be with you again. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for joining me for this video today. If you're returning subscriber, I really appreciate you. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about my journey into LECA. And I kind of want to prevent you guys, if I can, from making some of the same mistakes that I made when I first got started. There's not a whole lot of videos out there. More people are doing the semi-hydro, passive hydroponics, or LECA balls now, and so you'll find some, but I have not seen a video where people really talk about their upfront cost. And so what I did when I began to transfer my plants from soil to LECA, I made a lot of things what I consider mistakes, or things that I think I can prevent you from making. So just know that I'm not an expert. I don't profess to know it all. I'm just sharing my experience. I definitely want to give that disclaimer. But I watched a lot of people. Like I watched Minimalist Callie. I watched Pretty in Plants before she went off. She is not doing videos right now, for now, she says. Also, I watched Tracy from Planted to Flourish. She has over 500 plants, and most of her plants are in LECA. I think like 90% of them are in LECA. And so I gathered a lot of information, and there were a lot of suggestions made, and I tried a lot of those things. And then I started realizing that I had to find my own niche and my own way of doing things. And so they all give those same disclaimer that they're not an expert and that they learn by trial and error, just like you will do. But if we can prevent you from making some of the mistakes we made, it's a good thing. So hopefully you'll find this video helpful. So let's get started. Come on my journey with me. So I like to say that I've had some successes, and I've also had some epic failures. But the thing about transferring plants to LECA, one of the things that I learned was that you don't want to just go transferring a whole bunch of plants at one time. Maybe transfer one or two every other week or so, see how that's doing, learn from that mistake, then transfer more, see how you're doing with that. But if it's a prized possession, a plant that you've been, maybe a wish list plant that you've paid a lot of money for, you might want to hesitate on putting that into LECA right away until you find your niche with the LECA. And so the other thing that I did is I bought a lot of things. I just, whatever they said buy, I was buying, I was snapping it up, I was buying it. And then I realized was that a lot of things I didn't necessarily need. And so I want to share some of the things I bought. When you're transferring your plants from soil to LECA, there's certain things that you will need, and there's certain things that you can kind of buy some time. The first and foremost thing that you're going to need is LECA. And I keep my LECA, this is all cleaned and rinsed in this little tub here right near me, so that when I'm transferring, I always have fresh LECA. And then I have another tub that says dirty, and it lets me know that that LECA needs to be boiled. So you're gonna need LECA, and I'll tell you the cost of what I spent, but let me just share this first. You will need Super Thrive. Now they share a lot of different things that you'll need, like nutrient. Well, you won't for the first 30 to 60 days, but you will definitely need Super Thrive. You can get it at Amazon. I've seen it at Lowe's. You can get it all over, and it only takes like 1 drop per, I think, a gallon or something, half gallon or something like that. But the instructions are on the back. I mix up a gallon at a time, and I think I use this half a teaspoon and mix up a gallon at a time. And when I first transfer my plants into LECA, I do not. I only put Super Thrive in them. I do not put nutrients. So you could really get by with LECA balls and the Super Thrive. You could start just there. Now, I was told early on to buy a testing kit. I was saying I heard if you're gonna do LECA, you're gonna need a pH control kit to find out, the pH balance in your water. And you can see I've had this over a year. I used it maybe 2 times. This is, I think, let's see, the pH kit was $23. So you can hold off on this. That's one thing you can hold off on. I was also told to buy nutrients. Now there's several different ones. There's some that you mix, several different ones with, or there's this one is Flora Nova. This one, it's a cap full to a gallon, I think it is. And but my plants didn't do very well with this. So those are two things that I bought that I didn't necessarily feel like I needed at the time. My first purchase from Amazon, I purchased the clay balls. I purchased a small bag and it was $13.95. I purchased a Super Thrive, which was $10.65. And then I purchased the pH, this is all on the same order, the pH kit, and it was $22.89. I purchased a 10 liter bag of LECA balls for $20.22, and I purchased mesh pots for one was $12.99 and one was $19.99. This one was, you got 25 of them for $19.99, and this one you got 10 for $12.99. This is about a 5-inch and this is a 3-inch. And so just let me tell you, these I would not purchase if I had to do this all over again. I would hold off on these because you can use your grow pots that you get from the nursery. They have plenty of holes in it, and you can take something hot and make more holes around the side of it, and it works just as well. Also, when you use the either pot, if you use the grow pot or you use the mesh pot, you're going to need a catch pot, something to hold the water in, your water reservoir. So you would need that anyway. So then you end up buying 2 pots. So on this journey, I've learned that I can use these pots as long as I can find something that has no holes and no drainage hole in the bottom. And I could just put the pot over into, put the other pot over into the catch pot. But I also found things that I like and didn't like. So that was my first purchase. My second purchase was when I bought the Flora Nova. This was $17.95. I bought additional mesh pot, the smaller ones, for $16.99. I bought several cover pots for $15. I bought 2 heat mats, and I don't regret those at all. 2 heat mats that were $30, and a self-watering planter for $16.99, and I bought Dyna Grow. It's the nutrients for my plants. This one, and I love this one. There's no mixing. It only takes a couple drops to a gallon, so I mean it's still practically full. My plants love this one. I learned about this one from Tracy, but you can get Tracy from Plant It to Flourish. But you can get this one on Amazon as well. And then when I realized that I was really going to do this LECA thing, and I was loving, my plants were loving LECA. I had had a few casualties, but I was going forward anyway. I went to IKEA and I bought 8 bags of LECA. Now I understand that IKEA is no longer selling LECA, but I bought 8 bags for $5. They were, I didn't write down the size, but they were pretty big bags for $5.50 per bag. So I bought 8 of those, and then I bought 5 cover pots for $4.99. And so I was moving along pretty good, and I had quite a few plants transferred into LECA, and as I stated, I had some casualties. So once I started settling in and I had fewer casualties and I knew that I was in for the long haul, I love when you repot with LECA. I love that it's not so messy. I love that it's quick and easy. There are some things that I don't particularly like. Like I don't like the fact that I have to up pot quite a bit because you don't want the roots sitting in water, and once the plant begins to thrive, the roots just they're hungry and they search out that water, and you end up potting. So then you have quite a few pots that you have to clean. So I have a little tray wheelie thing that I wheel around and get all my pots, and I take a time. It's like washing dishes. So that's one thing that I don't particularly like. But I have more positive things about semi-hydro and LECA than I do negative. I do want to share, there's a company called Easy Hydro, General Hydroponics, and they sell a nice little pot. They come in different sizes. They're quite expensive, but they're worth it to me because they have this wick, and what it does is it lets you know when the pot has water. Unlike soil, you can't take a water meter and put down into the pot to tell if you need water or not with LECA. So you need something to tell, and either you need to be able to lift it up out of there, or you need to have something to tell you. So that's what I love about these little pots. And they come, like I say, they come in lots of different sizes. I think this is a 3-inch. I have the 5-inch, the 6-inch. I even have a 9-inch. Matter of fact, my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma behind me that you see climbing up is in the 9-inch pot. And so I really like anything that's going to self-watering, that's going to let me know how my plants are doing. And so that's one thing that but it's not something I would start with. It's something that I would grow to or plan on getting to eventually, more or less. And so let's see what else. I had some of the plants that failed was the Maranta. I put my red Maranta in semi-hydro, and it did terribly. Now I have actually both of those. I have the lemon lime Maranta, but they're both in semi-hydro. No, they're both in soil. I'm sorry, they're both in soil. I'm looking at that direction because they're on the plant shelf. But I have quite a few plants that I'm planning to transfer into LECA soon. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you one that has been, I think that was a LECA ball. This one I recently is a new plant baby to my collection. It is a Monstera standeliana, and fairly expensive for this little guy, but so worth it. It is in semi-hydro. It does have a cache pot with my water down in there, and I'm just using the holes in the grow pot. But I transferred this recently to LECA. It seems to be doing fine. I have had a lot of success with my philodendrons or monsteras in the LECA. Now I have one Monstera deliciosa in LECA. Initially, not so good. It had a lot of root rot, so I'd be careful with the water in the bottom of those. But this standeliana is doing fine. Now I have a Ficus triangula that I am planning to put in LECA. It is not there yet. I've had this little guy with me maybe, I think I got it in December. Maybe December. It was much smaller than this when I got it. And if I can find that picture, I will put it on the screen. But I want to put this in LECA, but it's doing so well in soil, so I have not. And then I can't remember the name of this one, but I will put it on the screen. It's also in soil. It's been doing very well, giving me new leaves. There's one coming in there. It's just been doing great right here in the soil. It's in my east-facing window. And so when it's doing well, sometimes it's difficult to just move right to the LECA. Plus, it was wintertime, and I didn't want to transfer a lot of plants during the wintertime. I wanted to wait until spring. So now spring is upon us, spring and summer, so we will decide on which plants we will put into LECA. I also have a Monstera Peru that I have not put into LECA. I'm waiting, stalking IKEA for their greenhouse, and then those plants I can put in the greenhouse and I can put them in LECA then. But again, this video was about pros and cons to LECA and things that I experienced. And maybe it'll give you some things to think about what you should do, if you should do it or should not do it, or you should hold out, or what you should do about transferring your plants to LECA and the things that you need to buy. Do your research and write things out, and then maybe you can decide if it's for you or if you want to move right into buying certain things. Maybe you leave the mesh pots off initially. Maybe you leave the nutrients off and just get Super Thrive, because you're not going to need the nutrients for quite a while. So those are some things that happened to me. I did a video, and I'll try to link it, but it's called What Would You Do, LECA or Not? And I got some feedback about, no, I wouldn't put those plants in LECA. My Hoyas do great in LECA. I have quite a few Hoyas. I call it Hoya Row, and they're all in LECA and doing very well. I have a Hoya Crimson Queen, Hoya Princess, Hoya Waiatii, Hoya Jennifer, Hoya Macrophylla, Hoya Rutusa, Hoya Australis and Hoya pubicalis, all in LECA, and they're all in one place, and I love that. I love that I can just check them. I can give them a little nutrients. I can give them a little water for the day, and that's a wrap. And Hoyas, some Hoyas have really, really fine roots and don't do as well in LECA, but they've managed to do very well. So that I just wanted to share that. I wanted to jump on here really quick and share that with you guys. I hope that whatever you decide to do with your plant babies, that you have much success. Again, thank you for watching these videos. Thank you for always coming back. It's Jenny Jen, the plant friend. I love you guys. I thank God for you every day. So hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up if you like what you saw, heard. If you have a comment, please leave it in the comment section below. If there's anything that I can share, if you guys have any suggestions on videos you'd like to see in the future, you can leave that at the bottom as well. And I will see you the next time. So take care of yourself and God bless. Bye-bye.